Hello my friends, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to do my February wrap up. I'm not gonna lie, February was not a great reading month for me. I know I had a TBR. I kind of followed the TBR, not really. I read some of the books. It was a mess. I don't know why I bother with a TBR anymore. I really don't. I tell you that I'm a mood reader, and then I'm like, a TBR, that'll work for me, right? That's gonna be a great idea. And then in reality, I read nothing on the TBR, and then I get mad at myself because I'm like, well, why would you make a TBR? So that's why for March, there is no TBR. I am not following a TBR this month because it's my birthday month. I don't want to pressure myself. I want to read. I want to have fun. No. So February was kind of a hot mess. To be fair though, I read 13 books and nothing is below a 3-star. So I say that's a semi-successful reading month, even though the last like 2 weeks of February it took me like all of my energy to read like 2 books. So that's great. Yeah, February wasn't great, but you know, I did read some really good books and some okay books, so we're gonna talk about them. I'm gonna start... Oh, and remember, I did participate in Blackathon, and I actually did hit all the prompts, which I'm pretty proud of myself for. You know, just saying, I thought that was pretty good. But, yeah, so let's just start with the 3-star ratings and work our way up to the 5-star, because I like to end on a happy, good note. So, okay, the first book in the 3-star category is Layla by Colleen Hoover. This book is very weird. I went back and forth with the rating on this. I decided to give it just like a 3, an overall like average kind of book. I have things I like about it, and I have things I really don't like about it. But the plot of this story is about Leeds and Layla, and they meet and have this whirlwind romance and whatever, and they fall in love. And then this tragic thing happens, and Layla ends up with some physical trauma as well as some mental trauma. And Leeds decides to kind of help in Layla's recovery. He's going to take her back to the bed and breakfast that they met at to kind of, you know, bring some happy memories, yada yada yada, bring the romance to the relationship and whatever. And they get there, and then Layla starts acting bizarre, okay? I understand where Colleen Hoover was going with this book. I get it. I get it. Okay, I get it. I understood at the end why everything happened. I get it. I think it's a very unique plot. I think it's a very different kind of romance story. I did like the overall idea of it. The biggest issue, which I've seen a lot of people talk about, is Leeds, the main guy character, okay, the Layla's boyfriend. He does things that I just don't really understand. I get why in the end he makes those decisions, but I think they come off very toxic and just not good. He doesn't look like a great person, and even in the end when everything is like, you know, everything comes to a conclusion, I still don't like him. You know, I get it, but I don't like it. I wish there had been a little bit of, I don't know, I just wish she had done things differently with Leeds. I think I would have enjoyed the book way more if Leeds hadn't been the way he was. It just comes off problematic at some points. I get it. I understand why people don't like this book. I do. I don't hate it. I don't think it's necessarily the worst book I've ever read. I wouldn't have done it if it was me. Like, I wouldn't have chosen to go in this direction. But, you know, I'm not an author, I'm not the writer, I'm not the expert here. I just think it's, I don't know, it just comes off very strange and toxic and inappropriate and weird and just kind of problematic. I don't know if I recommend it, to be honest. But a lot of people liked it, so who am I to say? Who am I to say if you would like it or not? I don't know. I don't know. I can just tell you how I felt, and that's how I felt about it. 3 stars. The next book in the 3-star category is actually a book that I'm surprised is in the 3-star category. I definitely thought that it was going to go much lower than this. I really didn't think I was going to like it, I guess, as much as I did. I don't know if I can really say that I like the book, but, you know, yeah, that's... and that is The Resurrectionist by Rath James White. So, this is a extreme horror novel, okay? Extreme horror novel. Just some, like, content warnings. It's very bloody. You know, there's descriptions of that. Rape, animal cruelty, to name a few. I mean, it's extreme, okay? So just be careful. It's gross, okay? It's not a great book if you're looking for something that's gonna, like, be a cozy read. Unless you like extreme horror for cozy reading, then this might be the book for you. But yeah, the animal cruelty happens really early in the book. Wasn't expecting it. Just FYI. This is about the main character, Sarah, and her husband, who get a new neighbor. And as soon as this new neighbor moves in, she starts having these nightmares where her and her husband are murdered. And so, like, every night she keeps waking up having these dreams where her and her husband are murdered, and then she ends up finding her sheets that are bloody, like it really happened. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna tell you. So I knew the plot, I knew the premise. I have seen the movie come back to me that it's based on this book, so I did know what was happening, so I wasn't really surprised. I will say that I much prefer this ending to the movie's ending, which I was happy about, because the movie ending is the one thing that really frustrated me with the movie. But yeah, you know, for an extreme horror novel, I think a 3-star is pretty good. I'm honestly surprised that I liked it as much as I did. And I don't know if I really liked it. I didn't really enjoy reading it, but I didn't hate it, you know? Like, I wasn't just like, this is stupid, I want to quit. It was more like, this is gross, I'm gonna keep reading, but I'm gonna be kind of happy when I'm done reading it, you know? It was as bad as I was expecting it to be honest. Yeah, it's brutal. So, like, don't go into this expecting, like, a light-hearted read. It's really not. I do like the plot. I think it's very original. I thought that about the movie as well. I think it's a cool idea. I think it's an interesting, I don't know, it's an interesting plot. Oh, I didn't really like the husband, but I mean, that's not surprising because I usually don't like husbands that, or spouses that in any of the horror movies that don't believe their spouse. That irritates me. That's like my least favorite trope. Like, I think it's so dumb. I understand that, like, I understand that crazy things are happening, but I can guarantee you that I would believe my spouse. I don't know. I just think it's so dumb. I understand that these are, like, wild things happening, but it's just so frustrating when these spouses are like, you're crazy, you're imagining it. Shut up. Shut up. It irritates me so much. Oh my god. But yeah, I couldn't stand him. He made me angry, but yeah, so I don't really know what else to say. It's a lot. It was okay. I'm not mad about it, but I, like, wouldn't reread it, you know. I wouldn't want to reread it again. So that's why I give it 3 stars. The next and last book in the 3-star category is The Other Brother by Brandon Massey. I have read another book by this author before. It was called Nana, I believe, and I think that was also a 3-star rating, which is kind of funny. But I really like this cover. I think it's really, really pretty. Look at that. I love the colors. It's very shiny, sorry, but very, very pretty. So this is about this man named Gabriel, and he's very successful. He had a very good life growing up. He had nice things, he had money. He's very well off now as a man. He's gonna get married to this beautiful woman. Like, he's got a really good life. He's got a good job, money, success, all of that, right? And there's this other man named Isaiah who has the opposite life, okay? He had hard life growing up, right? He had a single mom, he didn't have money, he didn't have the opportunities that Gabriel had. And it turns out that Isaiah is Gabriel's half-brother, and Isaiah decides that he wants what's his. He wants the life that he should have had, that his father didn't give him, which is Gabriel's dad. Obviously, they're half-brothers. So, he kind of pops up into Gabriel's life and his family's life, and he's like, hey, I'm your half-brother. I want to get to know you. Except he has ulterior motives, of course. He doesn't just want to get to know the family. He wants to get revenge, basically. He wants revenge. I liked this book. I thought it was good. There are supernatural elements to this, which kind of irritated me, because to me, the supernatural elements didn't really do anything to the plot. I felt like it was just kind of there for like an added element, but to me it didn't really add anything. I would have much preferred just the basic plot. That's probably just a personal opinion though. I'm sure other people really like the supernatural elements. To me, it just felt there, kind of like it was floating around, and it didn't really do anything, you know? And so I was just like, I don't know, like, it was fine, like, this was good, like, it wasn't bad. I just didn't love it. Like, it just didn't, I don't know, it didn't wow me. It felt very kind of predictable. I really didn't know where this was going the entire time. It was kind of obvious, which was unfortunate, because this isn't really a new idea, right? This is something we've seen before. And so I was kind of waiting for something to, like, spice it up. But even the supernatural elements didn't really spice it up, unfortunately. This was just okay for me. It was just okay. Wasn't my favorite. Okay, then we are moving on to the 3.5 star category, and the first book up is One by One by Ruth Ware. So this was actually, no, it's not. I was about to say this was my first book by Ruth Ware, and it is not. I read like 5-6 years ago, or well, maybe, I don't really know how long it was. Way before my YouTube channel, I read In a Dark Wood, I believe, and I honestly don't really remember it. I would like to reread it because I really don't have a clue what it was about. Actually, I don't remember anything about it. But I decided to read One by One. This was just kind of where my TBR really went out the window, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna pick something random. So this is an isolated snowy thriller, which is pretty much why I chose it, because I just wanted something easy and kind of just like, I wanted a thriller to get me through my slump, and it kind of helped, it kind of didn't. This is about this company who rents out this like mountain cabin. It's like beautiful and nice and luxurious. It's like really like beautiful and like, you know, and they get snowed in, and then people start dying. It's a pretty typical, you know, snowy thriller kind of plot. Okay, I didn't hate this. I know a lot of people either love Ruth Ware or hate Ruth Ware. I didn't hate this. It's just that to me, this was kind of too boring to be a thriller. Like, a lot wasn't happening. Like, it was kind of just slow, but there just wasn't a lot going on. And then when things did happen, it was just kind of like a, oop, just a little blip. Like, oop, oop. And I was like, oh, okay, this isn't that thrilling. The other reason I only gave it a 3.5, it would have been a 4, but I knew immediately who was doing it. I knew immediately who the killer was. I was extremely aware from the beginning, which was very annoying to me the entire time. It was not very well hidden or surprising or thrilling or shocking. I was a little annoyed, to be honest, because I was like, this is so predictable. I don't know why you went this route, but yeah, I was fairly annoyed by that, because it's not like I read halfway through the book and was like, oh, maybe it's this person. I knew from the beginning that it was gonna be this person, so that was infuriating. The ending was okay. It was fine. It's a pretty average ending, to be honest. Yeah, so overall the characters were obnoxious, rich, snobby kind of people. They were all meh. I only really liked one character, and that was it. Well, no, I liked 2. I liked 2 characters. Never mind. I take that back. 2. I liked 2. But yeah, it was okay. I think as far as snowy, isolated winter thrillers go, this isn't my favorite, but I don't think it's like awful, bad, like trash. I just think it was pretty middle of the road. Okay, the next book and the last book in the 3.5 star category, which I'm so sad that I have to put in this category. I really don't want to put it here, but I have no real choice because I don't love this book, and that is Beneath the Stairs by Jennifer Fawcett. So this book just came out. It's a new release. This was actually one of my most anticipated releases of 2022. I put it in my first video, I believe. I was very much looking forward to this book, and I actually got an ARC through NetGalley, so I was very excited to read it. This was my last book of February, so I was in a really bad slump at this point while reading it. It took me like a week to finish this one because I just couldn't get into it. So I do think that was kind of part of it. My slump wasn't really helping, but oh, I'm just so sad that this wasn't more of a favorite for me. But this is basically about this woman who returns to her hometown after getting this message about one of her childhood friends trying to commit suicide in this haunted house in their town. And this haunted house, it's like the setting of a traumatic event that took place in their childhood. So basically this woman has to go back and figure out, you know, the past, the present colliding and all that jazz. Okay. Ugh, I want to like this more than I do. One, I think it's just incredibly slow. It's incredibly slow. The first half of the book I did not enjoy as much as I did the second half. It took me so long to get into it, and that was disappointing for me. But also, I just wanted more from this story. It felt so predictable. It was so predictable. It doesn't really, it's not anything new that I've seen. It's just kind of the same story with like just a little twist to it, but it's not even like a big twist that's enough to like make it unique, which is just so unfortunate. I've read this story before. Again, I don't hate it. I think it was a decent haunted house story. I'm sure some people are gonna love it, okay, like absolutely just love it, which is great. And you know, I think if you don't mind a super repetitive haunted house story, which I typically don't, I don't mind a super repetitive one, but this was just so hard for me to get into and to connect with the characters. I didn't connect with any of them. Like, I didn't really care, you know? And that's unfortunate because at least if I have a character that I absolutely love and connect to, that makes it a little bit easier. But I didn't have that. So yeah, it was disappointing. It wasn't, I don't know. The ending, the second half of the book is better. I did like the ending. I thought that was pretty good. It was a satisfying ending, so that was nice. But again, I just didn't feel like it was anything special. That sounds so mean. It just didn't feel like anything new and fresh and different, and that's what I was hoping it was gonna be. So I was just kind of disappointed. But I still enjoyed it for the most part. I don't hate that I read it. I just wish it had been something different. So that's why I gave it 3.5. Okay, next up is our 4-star category. And the first one is The Perfect Ruin by Shanora Williams. This was the group read for the horror thriller part in Blackthorn, and I really enjoyed this thriller. I really liked it. I was hoping it was going to be good because I liked the idea of it. But yeah, it was really good. So this is basically about the main character named Ivy, who is kind of just not having a good life, okay? She's not doing great, and she's pretty troubled by her past, and she can't really move on, and she can't let go, and she can't really move forward. And then she is given this name, okay? Lola Maxwell. She's given this name, and basically you find out that this woman has ruined her life, okay? She knows that this is a person who has ruined her life, and she wants revenge. She wants to infiltrate her life and ruin her from the inside out, okay? I love that you really don't know what's going on with this story. You just know that the main character gets this name, and this person ruined her life, okay? Just ruined it. And you're like, how? How did they ruin your life? And you just don't know, and it's just a bit by bit. And I don't know. I liked the revenge. I liked the infiltrating Lola's life from the inside out. And Lola is a wealthy woman. She's very well known and like well respected and, you know, all that. And I don't know. It's just so interesting. It's so funny. And the ending, wow, that was a twist that I did not see coming. I was very impressed that I did not see that twist coming. I was so happy about that, and it was a wild ending. I didn't give it 5 stars because, okay, there's one reason. There's one reason, and it irritated me enough that I took off a star for it. But I knew, I don't know if it was a twist per se, but I knew a major part of the story pretty early on. It was easy for me to kind of understand what was happening in that aspect. I really wanted it to be more of a mystery, and it wasn't. So I was kind of upset about that. That's why I took off a star, and it wasn't like a perfect 5 out of 5, because it could have been with that ending. It could have been a perfect 5 out of 5. So I was just a little frustrated because I did get something that I wish I hadn't gotten. But overall, this was a very twisty, engaging, page-turning kind of thriller. I really enjoyed it. I think a lot of people will like this. It was really good. Definitely one that I would recommend to thriller lovers. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It was very good. I definitely want to check out more from this author. I believe they have a new book coming out this year, soon maybe? And I really want to get my hands on it because I really liked this one. So yeah, I was very happy that this turned out to be a really good thriller. Okay, the next book and last book in the 4-star category is The Reunion by Kirsten Modglin. So I've read another book by Kirsten Modglin before, and I believe it was The Missing, and I didn't really like that one. I thought it was just okay. I had a lot of issues with it, but this one I did enjoy it more. I know a lot of people really like The Arrangement. by Kirsten Modglin, and that is next on my list. But yeah, this one was pretty decent. I have a few issues with it, but this is basically about the main character who is going to her 10-year high school reunion, and this reunion is being held at this hotel that holds very bad memories. Something really bad happened in the past at this hotel, and so the reunion is being held there, and the main character has to go and kind of confront the past, and then you know, things start going awry. Little something starts happening while she's there at the hotel that makes her think that, you know, someone knows what happened. Someone knows, and they want her to basically acknowledge the past. I like a lot about this. I thought it was interesting. I didn't know what was happening for the majority of the book. And I liked the reunion kind of setting. I will say it's a lot of high school drama. So like a lot of the chapters, because you alternate between the past and the present. The past is telling you the events that led up to this event that occurred at the hotel, this dark event. And so a lot of it is just like teenage drama, like high school kids doing high school kid things, which is fine. I don't mind that, but to me it was just a little too much of that. It wasn't as exciting to me because it was so centered around the I guess what I'm trying to say is the high school stuff was kind of silly. It didn't feel super serious at times, so for me it lost some of that intensity that I want a thriller to have. It wasn't bad. I think it was still interesting and it was still engaging. It kept me reading. But that I had a slight issue with, just because I feel like I don't know. I just wanted it to be like a little bit more, and it just felt a little too high school silly at times. But my other problem with it is I knew who was doing everything immediately. As soon as this person's name popped up on the first page that they showed up, I was like, it's them. Okay. It was so obvious to me. And I mean, that could just be a me thing. Maybe I just zeroed in on them and was like, yeah, it's them. And I just like, it clicked for me. But yeah, it was unfortunately super obvious to me. I will say there was a twist including the person that I didn't see coming, which I appreciated. That was a nice little thing, which is why I gave it still 4 stars, because I did overall enjoy the story. I did like it a lot. It just had some issues for me that I personally don't love seeing in thrillers. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm judging it a little too hard about the high school thing. It just felt so, like, silly at times. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I can't tell sometimes. But I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was good. I liked it. I definitely prefer this one over The Missing. So, yeah, I do want to read more of her books. Next up is the 4.5 star category, and the first one up is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. So I did include this in my thriller recommendations video I just did, so if you haven't seen that, go check that out. But I really liked this one. This is an isolated setting thriller. It takes place in Ireland. It's like an Ireland island with rain. It's very atmospheric. I loved it. And this is about a wedding that is taking place on this exclusive island, and all these people have secrets, and then someone gets murdered and you have to figure out who was murdered and who did it. And it's a standard Lucy Foley kind of plot. If you've read The Hunting Party, you know what I'm talking about, or if you've read this, you know what I'm talking about. But it alternates POVs, so you get different guests and different characters you know, point of views. And then it also alternates between like a few days before and then what's taking place in the present after this person's been murdered, and like, you know, so you can see the events leading up to the murder and then what's happening while the murder has happened. I loved this. The Hunting Party was super average for me. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the ending. I thought the twist was kind of just meh. This one, on the other hand, I really liked the characters. In the beginning, I didn't like them as much, but at the end, I liked a lot more of them than I thought I would. And I liked who was murdered. I liked why they were murdered. I liked who did the murdering. I thought that was very clever. I liked the twists. I think my only thing is why I didn't give it 5 stars is I guessed kind of a major twist fairly early on, which was slightly annoying for me. But you know, I looked past it because I liked everything else so much. And the twist, like the ending twist, was enough to keep me like hooked. You know, I was like, oh, okay, I really like this. Yeah, I don't know. I just really liked this one. I thought it was really good. I can't wait to read Lucy Foley's new book, which I got in my book of the month, which is not here yet, but I really, really liked this one. I much prefer it to The Hunting Party. I did not like The Hunting Party as much. This one is way better in my opinion. I like the characters more, the setting, everything. I thought it was really, really, really good. Next up in the 4.5 star category is Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. This was for the Vengeance and Justice prompt for Blackathon. I loved this. Tiffany D. Jackson is an amazing, amazing, amazing writer. She's extremely talented, and I want to read everything she ever writes. This is about a white baby that dies in the care of this Black woman and her 9-year-old daughter, Mary. And the person who goes down for the death of the white baby is Mary, the 9-year-old daughter. And this book takes place 6 years later, where Mary has just got out of jail and she is living in a group home trying to piece her life back together. Mary never really said anything about that night. She didn't say much, and so they just kind of said, okay, you did it, the evidence fits, okay, good to go. And, you know, now Mary is just trying to live her life. She wants to go to college. She wants to have a future. She has a really good boyfriend. And then Mary gets pregnant. She decides that she wants to come clean. She wants to tell people what really happened that night and kind of just get it out all in the open. Wow, this book is wild. It's crazy. The ending is jaw-dropping. Yeah, I really thought I knew where this book was going. Nope. So, you know, this would have been a 5-star read. However, I don't know if I liked the ending. It's very shocking, it's very jaw-dropping, but I can't tell if I liked it. I can't tell if I would have preferred for me to have been right, or if I like that Tiffany D. Jackson shocked me. I really don't know. I don't know what I prefer. So I can't give it a full 5 stars because I'm not quite sure how I feel about that ending. The next and last book in the 4.5 star category is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. So this book is about Jules, who is broke. She's just broken up with her boyfriend. She has not really a place to live. She's kind of crashing with her friend at the moment, and she gets a job as an apartment sitter at the Bartholomew, which is this luxurious place, okay? And the job has a lot of rules, a lot of interesting rules, which seem a little suspicious. And she makes this friend that is a fellow apartment sitter, and then her friend goes missing. she can't find her. And so Jules has to kind of figure out what kind of secrets are lurking at the Bartholomew. What is really going on here, okay? So, this would have been a 5-star read. This would have been for me. However, I liked almost everything about this book except for it took kind of a long time to tell me what was happening. Like, I understand that the ending was supposed to be shocking, and I get that, and I liked it. I liked that it was a surprise, shocking ending. But what annoyed me is the book spent so much time basically, like, telling me, convincing me that this was going on and making me think this was happening, that I was getting annoyed. I was like, well, I don't want it to be this. It wasn't what I thought it was, thank goodness, because otherwise it would have been like a 3-star rating. But I was just like frustrated because I was like getting annoyed as I was reading because I was like, I don't want it to be this. And then the ending happens and it's not what I thought it was, which is great. I was happy about that. But it's like it frustrated me so much that I had to take off a little bit because I was just annoyed that they spent so much time trying to convince me that it was this, which I didn't want it to be. And I was getting annoyed while I was reading it. So that is why it's not a 5-star read, because I was just annoyed at some points, because I was like, this is dumb. I don't want it to be this. And then the ending was great. I really did appreciate the ending. I thought that was really, really, really good. It was a jaw-dropping ending, so I was happy about that. But I just couldn't give it 5 stars because I was getting frustrated. I was getting annoyed. I was like, I don't want to read this if this is what it is. Like I said, I was wrong, which I'm happy about, but I was just a little too frustrated while reading at certain points. But overall, I do really like it. I thought it was a good Riley Sager book, and I understand why this is a lot of people's favorite. Okay, the next category is 5 stars. I have 3 books to talk about. I love all 3 of these books, and I'm probably not going to tell you too much about them because I don't think you need to know too much about them. I think they don't need that much of a summary. But the first book I'm going to put in this category, and the first book I read in February, is The Good House by Tananarive Due. We know that this took me way too long to read, right? I have had this book on my TBR for like almost 2 years now, just never got around to it, kept putting it off because of the length. I was getting annoyed, I was getting frustrated, I didn't want to think about reading a long book. I'm so glad I finally read it. This is one of my favorite haunted house stories. Oh, this was so freaking good. It's so like heavy, but like heartwarming, but like dark, but also satisfying, you know? I have so many, oh my god, I just really liked this book. The ending was one of my favorite endings for a haunted house story that I've seen in a really long time, and I know a lot of people are not gonna like the ending, okay? I know a lot of people are not gonna like the ending. I get it, but for Aaron, this is the kind of ending I live for. So, I was very, very happy about the ending. Oh, I was so happy with the ending. I literally was crying because I was so freaking happy because I was so sad the entire book. It's such a sad, heavy, heavy book. And I was just so sad. And then the ending happened and I was like crying tears of joy. I'm like, thank God I can be happy about this ending. Like, thank God. So yeah, I was, I'm mad at myself for putting it off too long. The size, it's long, okay? It was a lot of reading. I think I read it in like 2 days though. I just kind of sat down and was like, you're gonna read it, and then I got so sucked into the story that I wasn't even really paying attention to the length. Thank goodness, because sometimes that helps, or sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm glad that this was how it worked out for The Good House. But yes, it's just The next book in my 5-star category is actually a book I included in my 5-star predictions. So I'm very happy to report, very happy to report that I can include this and that I got it right. And that is Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. This book, oh my god. I can't tell you which one I like, Little Secrets or Jar of Hearts more. I really can't. I really can't, okay? I really can't. This was an amazing thriller. Jennifer Hillier is so freaking talented. She's so freaking good at writing a twisty, jaw-dropping, heart-pounding thriller, which is just delicious to me, okay? You know what? I'm not gonna even say anything. It has to do with a serial killer, has to do with secrets, has to do with a disappearance. It's twisty. It's jaw-dropping. The ending, yeah, I'm not gonna say much. If you love thrillers and you haven't read this yet, please pick it up. Please read it. If you hate it, I'm sorry, because this is amazing. So don't listen to me if you think you might hate it. It's outstanding, perfect, 10 out of 10, loved it. One of my new favorites. The end. Okay, and the next and last book in my 5-star category is one that I think some people will be surprised about, but this was also in my 5-star predictions, and that is White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a haunted house story, but it is just so much more than that as well. It talks about blended families, it talks about gentrification, it talks about racism, it talks about like drugs. It's a very deep book. There's a lot of levels to it, okay? Mari, the main character, I really connected with her and I really liked her as a main character. I appreciated her. I was rooting for her the whole time. I just kind of wanted to, like, I don't know, I just wanted, like, her to be happy. Like, that sounds so dumb, but I just was really hoping that she was gonna be happy and, like, okay. And, like, I just wanted everything to work out for her. I just really did. But it is a haunted house story. There are some really good creepy moments, and I like how the haunted house was done. And I also liked the twist. I thought that was good. I know a lot of people didn't think this was as creepy or as spooky or scary as they wanted it to be. This is a YA, so I wasn't that surprised. But I actually thought it was pretty creepy. Like, to be honest, I really did. I really thought the creepy moments were really well done, especially for a YA. I know a lot of people had issues with the ending because it feels unfinished. And I kind of understand that, but I also really liked the ending. I'm hoping that there could be like a sequel to this one, because it is open enough for a sequel. But I didn't hate the ending. I really didn't. I don't like open-ended endings a lot of the time, but this didn't bother me. I liked it. And like I said, I just want everything that Tiffany D. Jackson does. She is amazing. I am flabbergasted. Her writing is just incredible. And there you have it, my friends. That is my February wrap-up. Those are all 13 books I read in February. Those are my ratings, my thoughts, my opinions, all that jazz. Like I said, not my favorite reading month I've ever had, but I do like most of the books that I read. Like I said, nothing below a 3-star, which I think is a pretty good month. Didn't DNF anything, didn't hate anything, which is great. Overall, satisfying to me. I'm hoping, so far March is off to a better start. I have read some really good books so far, and I feel a little bit more invested in reading and more like happy to read. So fingers crossed that lasts all of March, or at least the majority of March. But yeah, that's it. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought, if we agree, disagree. Let me know what your favorite read of February was, or least favorite, both. You can tell me your favorite and your least favorite if you want to. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. It lets me know what kind of content you enjoy from me. That way I can keep providing you with that kind of content. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We can become friends, talk about books, movies, manga, horror, thrillers, spooky things, all that fun stuff. And I hope you are having a great night, morning, afternoon, all the other times of the day, wherever you are. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!